The Matrix Resurrections teased a lot of things and got a lot of mixed reviews, but here are some of the questions that we still don't really know that happened in the film. These things that were kind of implied, things that they showed that just provided no real explanation for, really. So join me as we count down the top unanswered questions from The Matrix Resurrections, at least in my opinion. Welcome to Jam Punch, my name is George. And a warning, this video will contain lots of spoilers for The Matrix Resurrections. So one of the first questions is, why San Francisco? Now, of course, that's a real-world place. The previous Matrix had Mega City as its location, not a real-world place. It was just a kind of fake place the machines came up with. Now, this isn't the first time that a real-world location has been used in the Matrix storyline. As we've seen in many comic books from the Matrix series and the Animatrix, there's been other times when real-world locations have been used, which means that there must have been a reason for why San Francisco was chosen. Next, what exactly was that explosion when Neo and Trinity touched? Now, you can look past this quite easily and go, oh, it's just because, they're meant to be together and that's part of the storyline, their minds are meant to join in the kind of anomalium or whatever it was called. Other than that assumption, we don't know exactly what happened here. They've touched before, and of course there's no explosion, and that can be traced back to the fact that Trinity didn't realize she was in a simulation back then when they first touched. Here, they touch, and she realizes she is powerful. She realizes there's just a simulation, so she has the power to do these crazy kind of attacks. But still, a giant explosion? What the hell? Next, what is Sati's construct? We see eventually when Sati pops up in the storyline that she's kind of staying and hanging around in this weird kind of like grassy beach cliffside area, but we don't exactly know why. See, all these other programs that we see, so this new Morpheus thing, the Smith program, they all exist in a construct or a version of the Matrix or a training simulation or something that has a reason for it. We don't exactly know what Sati's doing here day to day, or if she chose it just because, as a place to kind of meet Niobe and Neo, etc. Did she create it? We don't know. Next, Bugs at one point says that Neo and Trinity reached one of the machine cities, back then when they were flying one of the ships at the end of the Matrix Revolutions. Now, in the Matrix Revolutions, and the whole first trilogy, they only mention the machine city, singular, the machine city. Here, so many decades later, we hear about the other machine cities. Bug says that was just one of them. So what the hell is that about? What does that mean? Where are these other machine cities? Why are these other machine cities? The assumption is that the machines kind of broke off into splinter groups, as the storyline says, and maybe formed their own cities. But we still don't know exactly what. I personally love to see a storyline that shows how these other machine cities were built. Next, what the hell was that disgusting cover of Rage Against the Machine at the end? Next, do dreams still mean anything in this Matrix? Remember that in the Matrix Reloaded and the Matrix Revolutions, the dreams that Trinity and Neo had weren't just dreams for no reason, they were visions. And they were visions implanted into their minds by the Oracle. It was the Oracle's grand plan all along to have Neo sacrifice himself for the good of the machines and the humans. So she planted those visions in his mind, those dreams of the machine city. So then Neo would know exactly where to go when he woke up. You go, oh, just follow my dream. Whereas here in the Matrix Resurrections, Trinity has this dream of them both fighting all these other crazy green-eyed people and all this stuff, but there is no Oracle. There's no one like the Oracle to plant this stuff in her brain, or is there? See, this opens up another new question. If dreams still mean something, how the hell did she manage to dream the future? In the old trilogy, it made sense because the Oracle planted the dreams in their heads. In this, there is no Oracle, which means Trinity somehow saw the future in her dream. Next, where exactly was the Analyst when he said that he was there when Neo died? This happens in that really important scene where the Analyst orders one of his swarm to shoot Trinity in slow motion. The Analyst says that he was there when Neo died in the Machine City, and we see a quick clip of Neo dying in the Machine City, but we don't see exactly where the Analyst was. Does the Analyst mean that he was Deus Ex Machina? He was one of the little swarmy insect things that formed the face of Deus Ex Machina? Maybe he was a program in charge of lights. Maybe he was a program in charge of the architecture of, this weird tower that Neo died at. We don't know. But that's an amazing little consideration, is where exactly was the Analyst when he said he was there when Neo died? Next, is Niobe's explanation about Morpheus acknowledging the Matrix Online or not? See, this is a real fine line, we just don't know. She says that, Morpheus lived out the rest of his life and, he wouldn't let Neo's death rest and he fought hard to find Neo and all this stuff. Well, that's kind of what happened in the Matrix Online. In the Matrix Online, we see that Morpheus died because he was killed by an assassin because Morpheus was trying too hard to free people from the Matrix. He was like exposing people to the Matrix by using these weird code bombs, and then he was killed by an assassin. But here in the Matrix Resurrections, Niobe doesn't say all that. She just vaguely says that Morpheus kinda died. So again, we still don't know if the Matrix Resurrections is acknowledging the Matrix Online. Now, it's far enough in the future, so it could work, but we don't know. Next, how and why did the Architect get replaced? So we see at the end of Matrix Revolutions that the Architect is alive and well. He's still walking around the Matrix. Yes, he kind of lost in a weird way because the machines now have this new truce thing that they had to go through, but he sticks around in the Matrix Online. So the question is, how did the Analyst take over? Why did the Analyst take over? What happened in the machine mainframe for them to decide, nope, Architect is out, Analyst is in? Next, really good one, how did the humans get machines on their side? This is a storyline that gets kind of explored in the film Matriculated from the Animatrix. In this film, the humans reprogram a machine to fight for them. Now, this is kind of what's happening here in the Matrix Resurrections, and again, it's what I'm saying is that the Matrix Resurrections kind of acknowledges the previous storylines, it kind of acknowledges the Animatrix with things like this. The question is, does it happen exactly like what happens in Matriculated, where in order to get these kind of two new robots to fight for the humans had to create their own little construct and teach the machines empathy? Next, who are the suits that the Analyst mentions? Now, in the context, he's basically saying that he had to convince the suits to let him run the new Matrix. But break that down. The suits, it's a bloody machine computer system. Who are suits? You guess, okay, it must be the high-ranking programs. But again, who decides that? Does that mean there's a hierarchy within the machine mainframe? Does that mean there are some boss machines and some underling machines? I mean, yes, we have seen that Agent Smith was the boss agent, but really those are just agents. When it comes to the suits that the Analyst mentions, does that mean that there's one program that's in charge of all machines? I think that's a fascinating question, and I'd love to hear more about that. Thank you for watching that, everybody. If it was a help to you and you really liked learning about the Matrix lore, then please subscribe to Jam Punch and I'll be releasing a brand new Matrix Explained video every single week. My name is George, this is Jam Punch, and I'll see you next time.